So if you spent any time at all on parenting forums or, scrolling through advocacy sites, you've definitely run into the 80% statistic.
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere.
It's this terrifying, pervasive claim that 80% of marriages with an autistic partner or child end in divorce. It just hangs over families.
Like a storm cloud. Yeah, it paints this picture of inevitable doom.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we decided, okay, let's ignore the hearsay and actually pull the longitudinal data, the real studies from researchers like Hartley and Bari, to see if that number holds up at all.
And the very first thing we found is that the 80% figure is what we call a zombie statistic.
A zombie statistic.
Yeah, it refuses to die, but it has no body. There is, and I mean this literally, no peer-reviewed source for it. It's completely anecdotal.
So it's an urban legend. But looking at the Hartley study, the reality isn't exactly rosy either, even if it's not 80%.
No, it's not. The data shows a divorce rate hovering somewhere between 23 and 36%.
And when you compare that to the control groups, which are down around, 13.8%?
Right. It is significantly elevated. We call it a divorce gap. But a gap is very different from a cliff. The whole narrative that your marriage is doomed is just statistically false.
Most of them survive.
Most of them do.
The nuance that really struck me in the data, though, isn't just if they split, but when.
The timing. That's crucial.
In typical families, you see the divorce risk peak early, right? During the toddler years, and then it drops off pretty hard once the kids turn 8.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get through the diapers and tantrums, and you're usually in the clear.
Yeah.
But for families with autistic children, that risk line just stays flat, doesn't drop.
It just keeps going.
The caregiving demands don't vanish at age 8. They just shift. You're trading toddler meltdowns for, complex adolescent navigation.
Which brings us to what I thought was the most counterintuitive finding in this whole stack. The high IQ paradox.
It seems so backward, doesn't it?
It really does. You'd assume, okay, a child with a high IQ will be more independent, and that means less stress on the parents.
But the charts show the divorce risk actually increases after the child turns 15 if they have high cognitive ability.
Why is that?
It all comes down to something called violated expectations. Parents expect that high IQ teen to launch smoothly. Drive a car, go to college, move out.
Standard script.
The standard script. And when social or sensory barriers get in the way of that transition, the parents hit a second wall of stress right when they thought they were crossing the finish line.
And that specific disappointment, that gap, can just shatter the marriage.
So that's the external pressure.
Yeah.
But then you have to look inside the relationship, especially for neurodiverse couples.
Right. The traditional story was always that the autistic partner lacks empathy. But Dr. Damian Milton's work really flips that whole script.
This is the double empathy problem, and it's such a crucial shift in thinking. For decades, the focus was on fixing the autistic person's deficits.
But Milton argues it's not a deficit at all.
It's a mismatch of operating systems. It's not that the autistic partner lacks empathy. It's that neurotypical and autistic people signal intent in fundamentally different ways.
The sources describe it as a clash between high context and low context communication.
Neurotypicals are high context. We rely on tone, hints, reading between the lines.
While autistic communication is low context, it's literal, it's factual, it's data-driven.
The classic messy kitchen scenario is the perfect example. A neurotypical partner walks in and says, "Wow, the kitchen is a wreck."
Which, in high context language, is a polite way of saying, "Please help me clean this."
Right. But the autistic partner is running that low context OS. They hear a factual observation. They look at the kitchen. They verify the data. Yes, it is indeed messy. And then they walk away.
They aren't being malicious or lazy. They just didn't get the hidden request.
Exactly. They operate on literal inputs.
But when you compound that disconnect over 10 or 20 years, the emotional fallout is massive. The sources talk about Cassandra syndrome for the neurotypical partner.
Named after the figure in Greek mythology, yeah. Cursed to speak the truth but never be believed. The neurotypical partner feels so emotionally deprived and isolated.
But because their spouse might mask well in public,
friends and family often don't believe there's a problem. So the partner is left feeling totally alone, like they're going crazy.
And on the flip side of that, the masking is absolutely destroying the autistic partner.
Oh, it is exhausting. They are burning unbelievable amounts of energy trying to run a neurotypical simulation just to keep the peace. It leads to severe burnout and this deep belief that they're only lovable if they pretend.
So how do successful couples bridge this? The data suggests the ones who make it work, they stop trying to fix the autistic partner.
They start translating. They use what's called the 100% rule.
The neurotypical partner learns to just drop the hints.
Right. If you want the kitchen clean, you don't say it's a mess. You ask, will you please help me clean the kitchen? 100% direct.
And the autistic partner uses cognitive empathy to understand that directness isn't aggression, it's just clarity.
Precisely. It's about accepting you're running different software and then building a bridge between those systems rather than demanding the other person change their entire OS to match yours.
That's a fascinating reframing. We spend so much time analyzing the silence in a relationship, but maybe we're just listening on the wrong frequency. It leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If communication is a two-way street, how often are we judging the success of a relationship based solely on neurotypical traffic loss? Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you.